Hey everyone, this video is being made to give you a natural tip on how to get rid of boils. And, boils are something that I would not wish on my worst enemy. So, a little bit about my experience with boils. I never had a boil in my entire life until last year when I was 33 years old. I got a really bad sinus infection, and I never had a sinus infection before. I got a sinus infection that lasted for 10 days. It was completely miserable, and at some point during the sinus infection, I developed a boil. And after doing research on it, what I found was sinus infections and boils alike can be caused by Staphylococcus bacteria. And Staphylococcus bacteria is a bacteria it's actually all over us. It's all on our skin and everything. But when that bacteria gets into, when the skin is broken and it gets into the skin or into the mucous membrane, is when it can cause trouble. And it did. So I don't know how it happened, but it got into me. And during my sinus infection, I developed a boil underneath my armpit. And a boil is kind of like, it's like a pimple. It's a really bad pimple. It's like actually a conglomerate of several pimples into one. And so I had the sinus infection, and I developed this small red pimple under my armpit, and it was as painful as all get out. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. And I thought, this is weird because I get acne on my face a little bit, but I've never ever gotten a pimple underneath my armpit. And so I thought, oh well, just like any other acne, it'll run its course and it will go. Only thing is that it didn't disappear. It kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and actually grew to the size of a ping pong ball. A ping pong ball underneath my armpit. I couldn't even put my armpit down, and it was so painful. I cannot describe to you how painful it was. So I finally went to urgent care. They gave me some antibiotics, and antibiotics basically stopped the infection in its tracks, but that ping pong ball sized boil was filled with white pus, and it had to burst to relieve itself, and the antibiotics helped with that. So it burst, and oh my gosh, so painful, and I have never seen so much pus come out of something. I was traumatized. I was absolutely traumatized. So after that went away, I'm like, okay, great. That was something that, came and went, and went on about my life. Literally a couple weeks later, I developed another boil under my other armpit. And I'm like, I can't be going through this again. There's no way. Very, very painful red dot. It grew and grew and grew into a ball. I had to go to urgent care again, and I had to get another round of antibiotics. Same thing happened. Stopped the infection. Boil burst. Done. So I'm like, okay, that was just a fluke. That's done. It's gone. Whatever. Nope. Couple of weeks later, I get a third boil. And at this point, I'm really upset. I almost want to cry because I'm like, I cannot deal with getting these once a month. I can't deal with the pain. Going to work, it makes me irritable because it's so painful. And I was only getting them in my armpits, so it was really strange. But I'm like, I can't go on with my life now for the rest of my life dealing with these boils. On top of that, I did not want to have to be on antibiotics long term and take antibiotics every time I get one of these, because I am against medicine, I'm against pills, and I'm against antibiotics. It wreaks havoc on your body. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I was posting on Facebook, I was asking for advice and everything, and there was one lady on Facebook, and I don't even remember who it was, but she told me to look into Swedish bitters. In addition to that, I was looking up YouTube videos, and I was seeing to mix these herbs like oregano and all this stuff, and I tried it, and it burnt my skin, and I still had to go get antibiotics, and it didn't help. So I tried these Swedish bitters. This lady had mentioned Swedish bitters, and she actually was suggesting to drink the Swedish bitters, which I will do another video on Swedish bitters because I think it's an amazing tonic, and I think every household should have it. But I actually use the Swedish bitters topically to get rid of my boil. So after that third boil where I had to use antibiotics and it burst and was painful and all that, I started using Swedish bitters on my boils, and for the next couple of boils that I had, I was able to stop them in their tracks. They actually regressed, shrunk, never grew, never burst open, and then I stopped getting them altogether. And I was so grateful that, you know, I haven't had one now in I don't know how many months, and I wanted to share this with you if you've suffered from a boil. So, if you suffer from boils, if you start to develop one, which you'll know that you're developing one because it'll be a tiny red pimple, and it will be extremely painful. There's 4 ingredients that you need. First one being Swedish bitters. Okay, Swedish bitters. You can get these at Sprouts grocery store or simply on Amazon. There's a couple of different brands of bitters. This is the best one. This is the original formula. You want to get it, the bottle that looks like this, made by NatureWorks, called Swedish bitters. It's $23.99, I believe, for the bottle, and it'll last you a pretty long time. Swedish bitters, number 1. The second thing you will need is castor oil. You can get castor oil anywhere, CVS, Target, wherever. Just get a little bottle of castor oil. You will need cotton, a cotton ball, cotton square, doesn't matter, and a Band-Aid. All right? Now, what you want to do is, if you're developing a boil, is you basically want to apply the Swedish bitters to the boil every day until the boil goes away. And anytime you put Swedish bitters on the skin, you want to grease the area with castor oil, which is why we have castor oil. So basically, let's pretend I was developing a boil on my arm here. What you want to do is you want to soak the cotton in Swedish bitter. All right. And you might fold it like this so it's, you know, a little square. All right. And then you're going to take some castor oil, put some on your finger. Again, just grease the area. You're going to take the bitter soaked cotton, place it on the boil or the bump. Okay. And then you're just simply going to take a Band-Aid and put over it to hold it in place. Do this at night before you go to bed. Sleep with it overnight and keep doing this every night until the boil goes away. And voila, it will go away. May take 3, 4, up to 7 days, but it's totally worth it because the boil will not grow, it will not burst, it will not be painful, you will not have to go to the doctor, you will not have to subject your body to antibiotics or anything like that. This stuff, this Swedish bitters, is a godsend. I cannot tell you, if it wasn't for this, I probably would still be dealing with boils every single month, and I don't know what I would do. You have to go get Swedish bitters if you're suffering from boils. If you have any questions, any comments, definitely put them in the comments below. Follow me on Instagram. My handle is @modnyc3, which you see on the screen now. And if you do end up trying the Swedish bitters, definitely come back, put some comments on this video, let me know. I want to know and see if it works as well for you as it did for me. Thanks a lot. Bye.